Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Today I'm going to take the second chapter from your textbook, Footprints Without Feet. The name of the chapter is The Thief's Story. It's written by Ruskin Bond. He's an Indian author of British descent. He's considered to be an icon among Indian writers and children's authors and a top novelist. What is there in the box? A young boy makes friends with Anil. Anil trusts him completely and employs him. Does the boy betray his trust? So, for this answer, we can read this chapter. Let me read this chapter. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. The narrator in the story, the narrator is a thief who was getting money by stealing. So here we can see the narrator is a 15-year-old thief. He is a 15-year-old thief and he was still a thief when he met a man. His name is Anil. The narrator is still a thief when he met a man, Anil. And here it says that the narrator, even though he was 15, but he says that he was an experienced one in theft. And he was fairly successful hand also. He says that he was a fairly successful hand also. It means that whatever theft he was involved in, he was able to successfully steal things and come out from it. That is why he says that he was a successful thief. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind, and simple enough for my purpose. So here the narrator, we know that he is a thief and he is only 15 years old, and we also know that he was an experienced one in theft and he was successful also in it. And our narrator met Anil. And when did he meet Anil? When Anil was watching a wrestling match. Okay, so he was watching a wrestling match, and then the narrator, the author, is saying about Anil and how is he? He is a tall, lean fellow and looked easygoing, kind and simple enough for my purpose. And what is the thief is saying to us? He was very thin and he was a tall and a very thin looking and he looked easygoing, means that he was not looking like a strict kind fellow. He was very jolly, good fellow. And he is also looking very simple man. And he was also kind. So from this we can understand that Anil he was about 25 years old and he was a tall, lean fellow and he was having a easygoing look and a carefree look and he was kind and simple enough for my purpose. So he is also looking very simple and kind. So he says that he was the right person for him to do his job. So he had planned something in his mind. So he had chosen the man Anil for his purpose. And what is his purpose and all we can see after. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. So here, I hadn't had much luck of late means that he was not able to steal anything of late in the recent days. Okay, he was not able to steal anything in the recent days, so he didn't get any money. And he thought that he would be able to get into the young man's confidence. First, he want to get the man's confidence, this young man's confidence. Who is this young man? Anil. That means he thought that he would be able to befriend Anil. First, he want to make friends with the Anil and make him believe that he was a good friend of him so that he could work out his plan with Anil. He wanted to work out his plan with Anil. That is why he wants to be friend with the Anil first. Okay. And for that, he wants to get the confidence of this man. And you look a bit of wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. In order to start a conversation with Anil, what this 15-year-old boy said, he said that he went near him and told, "See, you are looking like a wrestler." And here it says that a little flattery. What is actually flattery? It's a boasting and lifting others or praising others or excessive praising. Okay, that is called flattery. So he started praising Anil and said that, "See, you are looking like a wrestler." And so do you, he replied. So then, same time, Anil also replied that, so do you, which means that you are also looking like a wrestler. And here, he replied, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. So this answer, he never expected this answer because he was looking very thin. Our narrator, the thief, he looks very thin. So he never expected such an answer from Anil. And well, I said modestly, I do wrestle. I do rest a bit. And here, so immediately, narrator gave him a reply that in a very humble manner, modestly means in a very humble manner, sometimes I do wrestle. I hope you all know the meaning of wrestling. What is that? It's a kind of fight, it's a kind of sports item. Okay, it's a kind of sport item. Then Anil asked, "What's your name?" Hari Singh. I lied. I took a new name every month that kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. So when Anil asked the name of the thief, he didn't tell his real name. Why? Here he just made up a name and told him that his name is what? What is his name? He said Hari Singh. And he didn't tell his real name because every month he keeps changing his name. Why did he change his name every month? So that he could escape from police and from his employers. Employers actually the people who gave him work. Okay, so here he wanted to escape from the police and he wanted to escape from his former employers also. That is why he keeps changing his name every month. After theft, he was changing his name. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. So they both had a conversation about how the wrestlers were doing, how their bodies were oiled, and how they were grunting, means that they were making noise, how they were making noise, and how they were throwing and lifting each other. So they had a conversation about these things. And the narrator, our thief, he didn't have much to talk about. So after speaking, Anil just went away. And so what did the narrator do? He followed him casually. And Anil wished, when he followed him, Anil wished him again. Hello again, he said. And so, what is this 15-year-old boy? What did here? What this 15-year-old boy did? I gave him my most appealing smile. I want to work for you, I said, but I can't pay you. So he gave him a very appealing smile, very sweet and attractive smile to Anil. And so the thief told that Anil, I want to work for you. Here he said that I want to work for you. So the thief told Anil that he wanted to work for him. Immediately, Anil told him that what was his reply? But I can't pay for you. And that he said that I don't have money to pay for your work. I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. I asked, "Can you feed me?" He just thought for a minute. He just thought that maybe this is not the right person to choose because he said that he cannot pay him. He didn't have money to pay him. So there is not use for following this person. He thought like that. Immediately he thought for a moment and asked, "Will you be able to give me food? Can you feed me? Can you cook?" So here Anil asked him again, "Will you be able to cook for me?" And the boy answered that I can cook. So here The boy told, I lied again. Here he told, I can cook. I lied again. So this boy answered that I can cook. So again he told a lie. What was the lie he told him this time? That he was able to cook. Before he told his name, it's not actually his real name. Then also he told that Harrison. And here second time he told that I can cook. But actually it's a lie. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. So Anil took here. Anil said that if you are able to cook, okay, I'm ready to feed you. Okay. So again he told that what was the lie that he told, and that he was able to cook, and he took me to his room over the Chamna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. So Anil took him to his room, which was just above the Jamna sweet shop, and told him that you can use this balcony for sleeping. So what happened at that night? We can see what happened at that night. The boy cooked for Anil, but then that meal was a disastrous one because he didn't know how to cook. He might have done it terribly. So Anil was not able to eat it. So what did Anil do with that food? He gave the food to some stray dogs and told the boy to be off. To be off means that to get out, to leave the house. But what did the thief do? But I just hung around. So here Anil took him to his room only on one condition, thinking that he would be able to cook for him. But when he understood that he was not able to cook, he asked him to go away from his room. So when Anil asked him to go away, he didn't go. He just smiled and stood there, and he wanted Anil to call him back. So here, after seeing this boy's expression and this boy's behavior, Anil couldn't help laughing. But Anil couldn't help laughing means that Anil was only laughing by looking at this boy and thinking how he was behaving because he was hanging around there. He was not going, and he was smiling at Anil also. So by seeing the behavior of this boy Anil, he just couldn't help laughing. And later he patted me on the head and said, never mind. He would teach me to cook. He also taught me to write my name and said he could soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. But looking at this fellow, he felt very sorry for him. Anil felt very sorry for him and told him that, okay, you can come on and stay with me, and I'll teach you how to cook. And here Anil also taught him to write his name, and he also assured him that he would also teach him how to write whole sentences and how to add numbers also. So this 15-year-old boy and this thief was thankful to Anil. And I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. So he called himself a successful thief. So he said that even after learning how to read and write, I could become more successful, and there is no limit as to what an educated or literate man can achieve. So he was very happy that he was going to learn how to read and write.